Hi, Get Unstuck Nation. Welcome to Get Unstuck Radio today in another episode. And today we have our lovely guest, Jason Van Orden, and he brings his 16 years of expertise to talking with you today together here to share how to make profitable online courses. But not only that, though, his mission is actually to help visionaries with impactful ideas to connect with the people that they serve best and the problem that they able to solve them. So I know that many of you are still at the level of expertise, but not yet sure whether you want to transit from one to one to many or not. I think this episode is for you. So please welcome Jason with me to Get Unstuck Radio today. Hi, Jason.
Hi, Mutita. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining Get Unstuck Radio today. So before we getting into the sweet spot that we are looking to hear from you, can you at least share us here how you become an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so I started out as an engineer, but after working as an engineer for about a year, I wasn't very happy in corporate life. So I started looking for other options for making money and things that would get me out of the corporate world because I felt very stuck in the corporate world. And that's when I came across real estate investing. And so for a little while, I invested in real estate as an entrepreneur. But at the same time, I'd been studying marketing a lot because I'd been in rock bands. I was in a band for many, many years. I was very serious about my music and I wanted to learn how to market my band. So I found out I was, really enjoyed marketing and got pretty good at marketing. And then back in my real estate investing pursuits, I had a bunch of friends in real estate investing that started asking me marketing questions. So I started consulting them on how to market to find buyers and sellers for their deals. And after doing that for a little while, I realized, well, I could go and do a workshop and put a bunch of, get a bunch of people in a room and teach them a lot of stuff about marketing. And then I'd have a course. So this was in 2004. I did a workshop and I filled the room with 25 in real estate investors, and I taught them all these things about direct marketing and how to get buyers and sellers for their deals. And I recorded that event. And so now I had a product that I could sell. And at the time, it was actually CDs and a binder full of notes and things like that. So in order to sell that, I went online looking for new buyers. So this was 2005, before social media, even before YouTube, any of those things. And so I was on forums hanging out and answering questions and letting people know about my course. But then in 2005, I heard about podcasting, and podcasting really fascinated me as a new medium for marketing. So I started looking into that and decided, I'm going to start a podcast tutorial site because I feel like this is going to be a good tool for marketing and for business. And I want to be there as seen as an expert to teach businesses how to do podcasting. And so I made a tutorial site, and that took off and got very, very popular, which led to a book deal, lots of speaking gigs and things like that. And then about that time, I also started another podcast with a friend who was an entrepreneur as well. And we just recorded us talking about our businesses and what we were learning and what was working and things like that. And over the next couple of years, it grew a very loyal audience because it was the first podcast about internet business. And so we hit the timing just right. And so that ended up turning into an educational company with educational materials for new entrepreneurs. And so that was my primary business for about 10 years. And I helped a lot of people start businesses on the internet, be able to quit their jobs, find something that they loved to do. And about 5 years ago, I was time for a change. So I left that business and I wanted to work with people more closely inside of their businesses. And I wanted to work with people who were already established as experts to help them get their ideas out there. So for the past 5 years, I've been working closely with experts to help them package up lots of coaches and consultants and people like that to help them package their expertise up as like an online course or an online group program so that they can, like you said, go one to many and serve more people, make more money, and not have it take over all of their time. They could actually work less time, but still grow their business. So that's how I got to where I am now.
Yeah, I mean, I know for the fact that how like you can only do one-on-one as many as you can. Like you cannot
Right.
do so many. So um but I want to ask you this. What do you think to start an online business back then, like 10 years ago, 10 plus years ago, and then right now? What are the difference in your opinion?
Yeah. So a couple of things. I mean, of course, we have a lot more great tools these days for putting new online courses and things online. So that's awesome because it's become more of the industry of online courses and online education and online business has just continued to grow. And there are a lot more people now who are used to going online, buying things and looking for help and guidance and community. So we have more consumers looking for the kinds of services that we might sell. Now, at the same time, it's a lot noisier. There are a lot of experts online sharing their ideas. And so sometimes it can be really hard to stand out. You know, back then it was, I mean, it was, there was still competition. It was a little bit easier. Now, I don't say that to discourage people because the other thing that's changed is that now people, the consumers, the people we want to reach, they are used to being able to find the exact thing that fits their needs. So if we think of like when we want to listen to music, we can go to something like Spotify or Apple Music and find that exact genre or playlist or artist that we want to listen to. When we want to watch a show, we've got, Netflix and Amazon Prime and all these different places we can find that exact show that fits our preferences and our tendencies and things like that. So it's the same thing when they go looking for an expert to work with, somebody to guide them, support them, offer them connection with a community, is that they're going to look for a person that they really resonate with, that they really connect with, and that you have similar values as them. They like how you make them feel. They like how you make them think. You've got similar different, you're the kind of person they could see spending time with as well. And so the thing that's different is that it's much noisier, but those who really figure out like what is that unique thing that you have to offer in the world and create a brand that's going to be very resonant and really connect with that specific perfect customer or client for you, well, those are the people that are going to stand out above the noise and then grow a bigger brand and have a bigger impact in the world. So those are the main changes that I've seen over that time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the market is quite widened and then like become more massive than before. So I have to ask you this question because I think different people have different definition regarding to thought leaders or experts here. So what about you towards your clients?
Yeah. So like, what's my definition of expert?
Yeah.
So I would say that here's what I tell my clients that they need in order to stand out above the noise. I mean, you need to know very clearly who it is that you serve best, how you serve them, what are the outcomes that they want to reach, and what is your process for getting them to those outcomes. So I would say that you can be seen as an expert or a thought leader the moment that you've decided who that person is you serve and that you've come up with that and you've started getting that process and you start getting them results. And if you're able to deliver meaningful results for that specific perfect client that you work with best, then that's great. And the wonderful thing is I think we need more people, more of us who are willing to go out there online and share our ideas and share our perspective and our experience, because there are a lot of problems in the world and there are a lot of different things that need help, right? And so for some group of people out there, you're the perfect person to help them. So as long as you legitimately want to serve and have a way to serve them and get them results, then I say go out there and own that brand as an expert, as a thought leader.
So do you think what are the most important or what are the important factors to change or to integrate into their offer regarding to those who already have one-on-one clients and then want to change to course or one-to-many clients instead? This episode is sponsored by Mutita Clothing, like what I'm wearing right here. So if you are a petty sized lady who are looking for high quality apparels as well as a neat cutting and premium pattern, check it out at mutitaclothing.com so that you can be simply elegant by no time. Let's get back to the episode.
Yeah, so there are four things that you need to create a good online course or online program. And the fantastic thing is that if you are already serving clients and getting results as a coach or consultant or one-to-one, expert service provider, you probably already have two, maybe three of those things already. And so it's pretty easy then to repackage it. So the first thing is knowing, like I've already said, who is that ideal client that you serve, and not just what are their their age and their job and their things like that, but what is their experience like? What are the things that are keeping them up at night? What's the language that they use to share the pains and the problems that they're dealing with? What are those goals that they want to reach? And what are the reasons that they have not been able to reach those goals yet? So really understanding that ideal client. So that's the first thing you need, is that ideal client and a deep understanding of their needs and goals and challenges. The second thing then is knowing, okay, well, what is the outcome that they want to reach, and knowing that specific outcome that you know how to deliver to them. So let's say over here, you've decided that you work with people who are in the middle of their career. So maybe in their 30s or their 40s, they've been in their career for a little while, and they're deciding it's time to change their career, but they're just not sure, they're comfortable where they're at, but they feel like there's something else that they could or should or want to be doing. And so you're going to help people determine what is that next phase of their career. And so in getting to know that ideal client, you find out it's like, well, I'm worried about jumping and having to start all over again and being back at the beginning. I'm not sure what other jobs I might pursue. And so you decide, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to help them decide, well, here are their unique strengths, their unique talents, what their experience, and help them decide, hey, here's the next kind of job that would be great for you. And here's a path for getting you to that job. So that would be the outcome. So that once you know the ideal client and their ideal outcome, you've got two of the four things you need. And as a one-on-one service provider or coach or consultant, you should already know those things, and you're providing that outcome for this person, right? The third thing that you need is that system that gets them from where they're at to where they want to be. And this is your unique approach to helping that person out. So maybe you have your unique approach to helping that person figure out what their unique strengths are so they can determine what that next job is. Maybe you have them go and interview some people in different jobs to get a feel for, so you have your different steps that you have them to take. Maybe you've got different frameworks that you use to help them uncover things and decide. Maybe you help them with their resume. So these are all the different things that you do, and your philosophy in guiding them from where they're at to where they want to go. So that's your signature system that gets them there. Now, some coaches and consultants, of course you have your approach, and we do a lot of times, because we're working one-on-one, we might do very customized things for different people. But at some point we really have to look at how we develop results and turn that into a system that we've spelled out very carefully. And we're like, okay, we do this step and then this step and this step, so that we can create tools, so that we can solidify that system, so that we could write a book about it. We could, if we wanted to, we could, take a piece of it and have that be, an interview on a podcast. You could do, or that you could turn it into a course, for instance, right? So once you know what your system is and what the steps of that system are, and you've done it over and over again and created the tools and formalized it, now you've got three of the things: the ideal client, their ideal outcome, and the system, your unique system for getting them to that outcome. And then the fourth thing is just wrapping that in a different experience. So right now, the experience that you're offering is one-to-one. It's this very customized, hey, we have a one-to-one client relationship. You get on the phone with me, and that's, but that's the very time demanding approach to helping people, right? So that's like on the one side of things. On the other side of things would be to turn that system into a series of videos and downloads and tools where somebody could go through it on their own and maybe get to the results. Now, sometimes that's hard for people on their own to go through digital materials and get the results. So you might offer something that's more in the middle here. And that might be like a group coaching program where you're helping 20 people at a time. So you're making more money for your time. Or that it's a digital course, but people get some access to you or your team through Q&A calls. And there's a lot of different things in the middle here. So you've got the one-to-one, you've got the digital do-it-yourself, and in the middle, I call it the leveraged approach. And by leveraged, I mean, it's a leveraged, efficient use of your time, right? Because you're able to help more people with your time, but it's also leveraged in getting results for them because they still get the support and community that you need. So as a part of that experience, you might give them access to each other to support each other as well. You might give them access to you through Q&A calls where you're helping multiple people at a time. And then you'd give them access to information as a series of videos so you don't have to be on the phone all the time teaching those things over and over again. They can get those things from the media that you've posted online with your course. So the answer to your question is that the thing that's missing to go from here to here is probably only making sure that you've defined your system and made a solid system. And then fourth thing is to wrap it in, just decide what is that offer, that experience that I'm going to now put that system into that's going to help more people at a time rather than just one person at a time.
Wow, that's a very detailed answer. Like I hope if anyone who listening until now, you will see the picture of like how Jason would able to help you move things forward from where you are one-on-one to where you want to be one-to-many. But Jason, I want to ask you this question further. Me myself, when I started this journey though, I was also struggling about to came up with my method. It's pretty hard to reverse engineer what I would like to like do it step by step in order to make a repeatable process and then give my clients result every time. I believe that you have encountered this question a lot for the coaches who just started the journey. So what would be your suggest or advice to them, those who still couldn't figure out about the method? Because it actually takes time and takes a lot of I would say that information digestion, in my opinion. It has to be like synchronized within and then like able to make it through to become this method. Yeah, it took me time to get this trademark method.
Sure.
I would say.
Yeah. Well, and you make a very good point. You're not going to be able to coach people for just a few months or maybe just a year and know what your system is. You probably need to go and spend a couple of years or more getting consistent one-on-one results with people to then really have a feel for, okay, these are the commonalities. These, I mean, every client's a little bit different, but I always seem to do this and this and this and this, right? And even in the differences between clients, you figure out how, oh, if I create this tool, that'll help each client apply this in a way that fits them, right? So yeah, it does take time, and I would say that you need to get out there and at first you might, even in deciding who that ideal client is, you might spend the first year working with different types of clients and then be able to look back and go, okay, these are the ones I enjoy working with the most. These are the ones I create the best value for. These are the ones that pay me the best on consistent and really narrow it into like, okay, here's my ideal client, right? And you might then have to work a little while longer to go, okay, I keep helping with this outcome and this outcome and this outcome, but maybe I'll really narrow down on this outcome because this is the one I enjoy most and that I really do the best, and I want to stand out for something specific. And at some point you have to narrow down who your client is. You have to narrow down what is the outcome that you are best at providing. And so it can take some time just to get those first two things, the ideal client and their ideal outcome, right? And then you might spend more time just focusing on that to then look back and go, okay, here's the system that I tend to do. And so it does take some time and experience. And then, even then, sometimes that's why they come and work with someone like me, because you need that outside person to look at what you do and say, okay, I see what your system is. Because sometimes it's just so second nature to us, or easy for us, or, whatever, that we just don't quite see the patterns in what we do. But somebody else, somebody like myself who helps people create systems and turn them into new products like online courses, we can help to plan out and go, okay, here's your system. And then you can take that system and go, okay, it's 5 modules because there's 5 milestones that I take somebody through. And then for each of those milestones, there's 3 or 4 things that I do. So those are the lessons within my course. And see, that's what I do with clients, is I help them spell out their system and turn that into a curriculum for a course. And then, and then throughout that time, then now you're able to have a good feel for what kind of other one-to-many experience you might want to create, because you're drawing from all of this experience as a one-to-one coach, consultant, service provider as well. So yeah, it can take a challenge. It can be a challenge. It can take time, but if you give yourself that time and are really thoughtful about it and experimenting and changing as you go to narrow it down, and then maybe getting outside help from somebody who does something like what I do, you can arrive at what, ideal client, ideal outcome. Here's the system that I use. And now, once you've got that system, I mean, that's a real asset, because you could have your group coaching version. You could still do some one-on-one, but just charge a higher amount. You might write a book that's an overview of your system. You might take the first piece of your system and say, this is a lower priced course that somebody can buy and go through on their own as a way to just try out my expertise. And if they like that, then they can upgrade to the full system and maybe take my coaching group or work with me one-on-one. So that system now becomes the thing that you can turn into an entire business model with a collection of offers that fit the needs of the different prospects and customers that show up for your business. So that's the process. That's what it looks like. And it can take some time, but I would say you're ready to start thinking about the one-to-many when you've got a pretty good idea of who that specific customer is, and you've got a pretty good idea that you're like, I can get consistent results, and now I just want to turn it into a system and turn it into a new offer.
Yeah, thank you for answering that. And I want to add one thing, that it's okay to change. Like after you're trying though, it's okay to change. And then experimental is they give all the data that you actually able to make decision easier and better, because you have some result and you have some data to support your decision further along the way. So yeah, I'm excited to anyone who work with you right now. Like that's amazing. Jason, so if anyone listening until here and they want to work with you, where can they reach out to you then? Or where can they follow you?
Yeah. So my website is jasonvanorden.com. So that's Jason, JasonVanorden.com. And if you click on newsletter, then sign up for my newsletter. I'm always sending out tips to help with these things, creating your system and finding your person and those kinds of things, right? And then if you want to work with me, I take one-on-one clients, and I also have group coaching programs as well that people can work with me, where I guide you to launching that one-to-many course. And I'd say, like I said, anybody be ready to work with me as long as they know they have a pretty good idea of who that person is and what their outcome is, and know how to get results for that person. Then I can help with the rest of it. So visit jasonvanorden.com, sign up for the newsletter, and feel free to reach out to me directly too if you have any questions.
Thank you so much for joining Get Unstuck Radio today. And I hope anyone who listening to here that's still stuck at the hamster wheel of one-on-one, able to get unstuck and thinking about having a course today. So thank you, Jason. Take care.
Yeah, thanks, Mutita. Bye.
Hey, thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed the show, you can subscribe here or here. And this is the previous episode. Check it out. See you next time.